Is cheating okay?
Hell no. What you mean?
Because if you're saying that sex is the basic, the anchor of, you know, a relationship, a marriage, or whatever, right?
I wouldn't say it's the anchor. I say it's very important. It's a fundamental, like, principle.
So if you're withdrawing sex,
it's a must in a relationship.
it's a must. You think it's a priority?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Probably the number one
But
priority.
what do you mean cheating?
It's just, you know, is cheating okay? If you feeling like, you know, low key, you're like, I'm withdrawing my.
I don't think anybody
physicalness.
wants to be cheated on.
No.
But I think people have different responses to it. So some people feel like cheating is
That's so good. I like
it's just
that.
sex to them. So they're like, oh well, I mean, it's
That's
just
what I'm
sex.
saying.
Most men feel
if
that
you
way.
know that your spouse, listen, so let me just add this layer.
Yeah.
If you know your spouse wants it all the time, maybe, let's say, out of the week, you know, maybe 3 to 4 times out of the week, and, you know, maybe there's a time where you're like, you know, I'm not feeling it or whatever. What do you feel the difference would be if, like, you know, he might have stepped out, or, I mean, marriage aside, okay, because we know everyone is not married and we know everyone's not in that kind of relationship. But what do you feel the difference between if cheating is okay because you're not giving that physical intimacy that's needed, and maybe he wants it all the time and you withdraw from that?
And you basically push that person away. It doesn't have to be a him or her. It doesn't have to be gender.
I think that cheating is wrong, period, because you have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's holding holding you up with a gun to your head. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need sex that bad that you need to go outside of our relationship,
get help.
It's almost low key
you
an
need
issue.
help. Yeah, you don't, like, there's something wrong, there's an issue, and you have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stop you. Like, I can't, obviously, like, you have your own free will. It's not up to me. If you want to go out and have sex with other people, I think that's my husband calling me right now. But yeah,
Maybe
so I just feel
downstairs.
like, you know, cheating to me is wrong, period.
I agree
like,
with
there's
that.
no, like, ifs, ands, or buts about it, because at the end of the day, even being a married woman, it's, at the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper that we sign. Like, that's not going to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. So if you want to go out and you want to be with somebody else, like, that's on you. That's your decision. You have your free will to do that. And if you do that, that doesn't mean that I agree with it. If I decide to stay through that, that doesn't mean that I agree with it either. But I don't agree with it, period.
I don't think anyone agrees with it.
Yeah.
I've been in a place where I've been cheated on, and I've been in a place where I had the tit for tat and said, fuck it. And I'm going to
That's a good
give it to you. So
interesting, Sharelle.
Did you do it because strictly you just wanted to get back at him, or you really just wanted to have sex with somebody else? Like,
no, I felt like I had enough. I was at the end of I had enough.
But have you ever, in any of your relationships, have you ever just wanted to, like, be with somebody else? Like, you're in a relationship, you love this person you're in a relationship with, but you want to
venture off,
dip your toe in somebody else's pond.
Us as women, our answer will be different because we are emotional creatures.
I agree.
And I feel like, you know, when I was younger, I used to have the tit for tat mentality, and I cheated on my ex-husband with Chad.
Really?
I wouldn't say cheat because I mentally checked out.
I understand. So you were almost done with that
I
relationship.
was done.
So you were done
I was
with that
mentally
relationship.
checked
I see.
out. And I grew an emotional attach. So it was like I was already physically attracted to him. So it just made it even better.
But see, that doesn't feel like tit for tat. It just feels like you was done and somebody else caught your attention.
But at the age I'm at now, I felt like it was wrong because I should have ended that relationship fully.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was younger, and at that time, I was focused on myself. and trying to get over everything that I went through. And if I would go back, I probably wouldn't have did what I did, but it happened. I can't go back and change it.
Does that affect your relationship now?
With us?
Yeah.
Of course.
So do you feel like Chad may not trust you as much because he knows you was with another?
I wouldn't say it doesn't affect Chad and our relationship, because I told him the reason why I did what I did. But it does affect my ex-husband and our relationship. We do have a child together, and
So you're co-parenting. relationship.
it does affect a lot. We don't communicate at all.
Yeah.
I bought my son a phone. That's how we communicate. But it's hard to really explain to him, because as a man, their pride is very hard. It's like,
I understand.
you basically, I took care of things you should have, but they don't see what they do. They just look at what you do, that one thing that you do, and you're the worst person ever.
Yeah. Yep.
But-
Because men can't take it. They can't
They
take
can't.
it.
They can't take what they did.
Exactly. They cannot take it.
On the other end of things, I feel like people have to understand, and now I realize this now, that people have like just relationships, not just, sexual or just intimate relationships, friendships, corporate relationships, whatever. It's an expiration date. And I'm saying that to say that, like, we have to be, put our big pants on and just say, you know what? This is not fulfilling me in some kind of way. This is not helping me out. This is not helping me reach my goals. Or I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we just get in this mundane, day-to-day time of where we're just like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up next to this person. It works. Rent is paid.
I
We gonna
think
figure it out.
that is
You
what
know
I
what
was
I'm
dealing
saying?
with. Like, I went through so much in that relationship, in that marriage.
Yeah.
I started just, okay, let me just check the box.
Of course.
And that's where communication comes in at, because it's like, I can't focus on my kids anymore. I can't make sure, he's happy. I got to focus on me, because if I'm not happy, he's not happy.
Yeah.
So I felt like if I would have communicated more and exited out of that relationship, it would have been better. We probably would have had a better co-parent.
And you know that now.
Yeah, of course. I have matured. I have learned. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when all that happened. But, it happened. I learned from it. And it is what it is. I can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all go through things. I'm just very vulnerable and open to speak on, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that has dealt
Absolutely
with
not.
a situation like that.
Go ahead and take a drink if you dealt with that situation like that. It's okay.
Yes.
Or even if you understand what's going on.
It's definitely okay, because us as women, we'll make decisions because we're emotional.
Exactly.
We worry about what that man thinks and how they feel and how the kids feel, instead
not
of
even
making
in
the
us
decision
last.
for us. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I had to come to a point where I had to choose me.
Yeah. I
That's
understand.
important. That's very important, and it's brave,
It
because
is
a lot of
brave.
women stay. A lot of women, they deal with infidelities. They deal with just being unhappy, even if it isn't infidelity, like abuse. They deal with things in their relationships, and they decide to stay for whatever reason, for the kids, just because they don't. The unknown,
Right.
they don't know how it's going to be if they
Scared.
leave their relationship. So, that's a very brave move. And, you live and you learn. You made a decision. You found love. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Like, some things, may not start, politically correct, but it is what it is. It's life.
It is. Nobody's perfect. We wasn't born with a handbook on how to deal with the
Exactly.
relationships, how to live the perfect life.
Exactly.
So you
And
go
guess
through
what?
things.
We only hear that little dash, right? That's in between our birth and our
Expiration date.
expiration date. So what you do with that dash is very crucial. And you have to live. And then you learn from how you lived, and you can teach people and you can encourage people and you can understand what it was that you went through.
Yep.
And understand that and let your babies know.
And
let
we
your
can
man know.
and be like, hey, is
part
this
of your
normal?
life.
Is this what
Right.
happens
Right.
in
Yeah.
relationships? Like, that's important. That we
Yeah.
lean on each other, because we all go through different experiences.
Vulnerability.
and can learn from each other.
Yep, that's true.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I get it. I understand it. I receive it.
Yeah, I have to teach my daughter this all the time because, you know, I grew up in a household, my mom and my dad, you know, they were married, but it didn't last long. My mom was in a sheltered home where my grandfather and my grandmother were very strict. My grandfather was a pastor. And when she got married, she wanted to stay stuck in that Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City area. And she didn't get to experience. My father was in the military. So growing up, I grew up seeing how she treated my stepdad. Like, she's very submissive, stayed at home. Like, she worked, she was a nurse, and she made sure she cooked for him and did everything. But I'm just on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I didn't ask her questions the way I want my daughter, how my daughter asked me, like, how's the relationship? What should I do as a woman? How do you feel? Does Papa do everything to make you feel like a woman? Like, what can you do better? So now I teach my daughter, because I don't want her to make the same mistakes I made in choosing a man and being in a relationship with a man. I teach her, I talk to her, like, these are the things that I did wrong. You should communicate, express, because us in the black households, like, we wasn't learned. It was always, you know, I speak, you listen, shut up. It is what it is, one-way conversation. But I teach my daughter, all my kids, I teach them, communicate, express yourself. That's the only way you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
And that's in relationships, with your kids, with your
Jobs.
friends, jobs.
Everything. Our
We have
relationships.
to get better in the black
I love
community.
y'all's relationship with your daughters.
I know.
I
Thank
think
you.
that is very special. Like, I see both of you guys with them, and I'm just like, damn, I think I want a baby girl, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But no, like, really, you guys, the way that the communication that you guys have, the way that you're very vulnerable, you're upfront with them, the way that you share experiences with them, I think it's admirable. And if I had a daughter, I would definitely like want to raise them the way you guys are raising your daughters, because it's
Thank
so
you for
beautiful.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, your little mini me's.
That's my best friend.
I was
I
about
love
to say,
her.
you
She
have
tells
to-
me everything.
I love
Yeah.
that for us, because
Yes.
you have to be honest.
Yeah, I
You
love
have
that.
to, I have to
them-
be honest.
You would rather them come to you about everything than them going to their friends
Correct.
or the outside world. My
Correct.
daughter is my best friend. She tells me everything, and she, like, our relationship is, sometimes I lay in the bed at night and cry and thank God that, you know, I did
That's
an
beautiful.
amazing job. And I have a
So
support
was your
system.
relationship with your mom like that as
No,
well?
it
Okay,
wasn't.
and what about yours?
It is.
It
and
is.
you know,
I know,
y'all
you're
heard
very
my mama
close.
say
I have
that.
a close relationship with my mom, but I felt like I couldn't come and tell my mom the things that me and my daughter talk about. Like,
Okay.
it's like, she's my best friend. We travel together, we do things together, we shop together, we talk about life together. Even when it comes to credit, she's on my cards. Like, I
Yeah.
prep her for things that I wasn't prepped.
Yeah.
So,
And to your point, like, you know, in going back to my mother, it was different for her too. My mother is older in age. And I'm not going to say her age, but she's in the 70s.
And fine.
And you know what I'm saying?
Okay, Mom.
She has a lot
Beautiful.
of energy.
I think all of our mamas look good.
Yeah, they look amazing, by the way.
They do.
So my mama,
Shout out to the mommies.
My mama grew up in a different, she grew up in a different time era of, like, you know, this is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
This is what you're supposed to vote. This is how you're supposed to vote. This is how, what you're supposed to, you go to school,
Yeah.
you get this education, you have this job, and you stick with it. You find this man and you marry him. Then you have kids with him, and I'll be in the kitchen and he's doing this and whatever. And you stick to it. So we have, at this stage, I feel like she's seeing the different generation. She's seeing me, and
That's
she's
beautiful.
also helping me raise my children,
Right.
her grandchildren, in this new era, this new generation of, they're more boisterous. They're more into, like, you know, interracial dating, because that's new for her too. Yeah, I'm just being honest. She's from St. Louis, Missouri, and even her being on one level of it, she came through a lot, you know,
Yeah.
and she struggled in a different way of just that social aspect. Even social media is different from her. Even the way the kids are, like, you know, listening to different rappers and different like music. She's like, okay, I'm trying to understand this because I saw the struggle.
Yep.
I saw the racism. I saw the indifference. I saw how we were fighting just to vote and really have a job and have a paycheck that comes to us. Just the little things. So she's kind of starting to differentiate.
I gotta pee. Yeah, I do too.
But you know what I mean? They're just getting to the point where they're just understanding that, you know, it's different now.
Yeah.
And she's receiving that. So I appreciate my mother in that space. For that.
Yeah.
Shout out to our mama.
Shout out to the mommies. Cheers to the
mommies.
mommies. Cheers, Yvette.
Cheers to everyone that has instilled life in us and femininity in all aspects.